Imagine you're watching your favorite football team, right? Your heart's pounding, you're practically screaming at the TV as your star striker lines up for a penalty in the final minute. But what if you found out later that the final score was literally decided before the referee even blew the starting whistle? Seriously, what happens when the absolute integrity of world football is completely compromised?
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to take a hard look at the shadowy underbelly of the beautiful game, and we'll unpack our sources to explore the massive match-fixing scandals that absolutely shook world football to its core. We're going to see exactly how the very soul of the sport has been tested by pure greed, and, of course, how global authorities are fighting back.
So, here's how we're breaking down this true crime dossier today. Part 1, the player's hustle. Part 2, the referee syndicate. Part 3, the Calciopoli earthquake. And finally, Part 4, Interpol versus crime. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the player's hustle, focusing on greed right there on the pitch. You know, the core motivation behind these scandals pretty much never changes. It's just pure greed. Take the 1915 British scandal, for example. Manchester United was playing Liverpool on Good Friday. Now, with the First World War looming, everyone knew the league would probably suspend operations, which meant pausing their careers. So players from both sides actually conspired to fix a 2-0 United win at massive 7-1 odds just to cash in while they still could. Now fast forward and compare that to the 1980 Italian Tottenero scandal, where players were taking upfront cash to fix games in this massive illegal black betting scheme. Honestly, it's the exact same hustle, just a totally different era.
But here's the thing, that 1915 fix, it didn't go smoothly at all. Some players flat out refused to take part, which leads to this incredibly tense and honestly kind of hilarious anecdote. Liverpool's Fred Pagnam actually threatened to score a goal just to ruin the 2-0 fixed result. And late in the match, he actually fired a shot that clattered loudly against the Manchester United crossbar.
As he almost ruined their payday, his corrupt teammates literally started arguing with him right there on the pitch in front of everyone.
And hey, if you think the 1915 story is wild, check out the timeline of that 1980 Tottenero scheme. So a Roman restaurant owner named Alvaro Trinca and his produce supplier Massimo Cruciani, they built this rapport with Lazio players who frequently ate at their restaurant. They offered these players upfront cash to fix games so the duo could win big on illegal bets. But guess what? The players just ripped them off. They took the money and then played totally normally. So Trinca and Cruciani end up losing these massive bets, they fall into huge debt, and naturally, they start getting threats from some very dangerous people. And their solution? They lawyered up and turned themselves in to the police. They ended up bringing down almost 40 people, including the president of AC Milan. Getting ripped off when you're actively trying to rip people off? Man, you really just can't make this stuff up.
Moving on to Section 2, the referee syndicate, whistleblowers and wrongdoers.
So what happens when the guy holding the whistle is the one placing the bets? Well, 2 million euros happens. That is the massive, staggering scale of the 2005 German match-fixing scandal. This was a highly organized operation that completely cast a shadow over German football right before they were set to host the 2006 World Cup. And right at the center of this whole thing was a second division referee named Robert Heuser. To really understand this, we need to break down the mechanics of how this organized crime actually functioned. Step 1 involved Ante Sapina, who was an obsessive gambler connected to a Croatian crime syndicate. He specifically targeted and paid off Heuser. Then, Step 2. Heuser actually manipulated the games on the field. The most infamous example of this was a 2004 German Cup match between heavyweights Hamburg SV and a regional side, SC Paderborn. Heuser awarded 2 highly questionable penalties to Paderborn and even slapped a red card on Hamburg striker Emil Mbenza just for protesting the bad calls. Hamburg ended up losing 4-2. And finally, Step 3. The syndicate simply cashed in their rigged bets. Now, obviously, the authorities didn't just let this slide. When fellow referees started reporting suspicious behavior, a massive investigation blew the lid right off the operation. Heuser got banned for life and handed a 2.5-year prison sentence, with the judge specifically noting that these were adult acts of serious weight. Other corrupt officials and syndicate members were locked up too. In Hamburg, they were actually compensated with 2 million euros for being forced out of the cup early.
All right, Section 3, the Calciopoli earthquake, looking at executive manipulation.
This one is crazy. In 2006, Italian authorities were actually busy investigating allegations of doping by Juventus players. But while doing that, they stumbled onto something entirely different. Transcripts of wiretapped phone conversations exposed that Juventus general manager Luciano Moggi and several other officials were operating this incredibly elaborate scheme. See, they weren't just bribing players.
They were actively influencing referee designators to make sure favorable referees were assigned to their matches. They even went as far as pressuring referees to give strategic penalty cards to players on opposing teams in preceding matches. That way, those star players would be suspended and totally ineligible to play against Juventus. Just next-level manipulation.
And the fallout from Calciopoli, it was an absolute earthquake for Serie A. The Italian Football Federation handed down unprecedented punishments to some of the most famous teams on the planet. Juventus, this historic giant football club, was literally relegated down to Serie B and had points deducted. AC Milan, Fiorentina, and Lazio, they all suffered severe point deductions too. And top executives, including Luciano Moggi, were hit with lifetime bans from the sport.
But we have to note that the sporting trials for Calciopoli were incredibly fast. They wrapped up in just a few weeks during the summer of 2006, which actually drew some really severe criticism regarding due process. Take Corrado Di Biase, for instance. He was the head of the investigation office during the 1980 Tatonio scandal, and he strongly criticized these proceedings. He basically called it an authentic legal abort. His argument was that rushing a standard 6-month investigative process into just 2 weeks completely denied the defendants their ability to bring in witnesses, review dossiers, or mount a proper defense. He argued that the basic rights of the accused have to come before any football match or tournament schedule. So it really highlights the immense controversy and complexity around how the sporting justice system operates when it's under intense public pressure. Which brings us to Section 4, Interpol versus Organized Crime, the global pushback. As match fixing has evolved from just a few opportunistic players into these highly organized, transnational syndicates laundering illegal money, defending the sport today requires a massive, coordinated international effort. Enter the Interpol Match-Fixing Task Force, or the IMFTP for short. Now, this isn't just some small oversight committee. We're talking about a global network of over 100 member units and more than 150 national points of contact all over the world. They actively connect criminal investigative units, betting regulators, and sports federations so they can act as one unified platform against corruption.
And they are using some very specific, highly data-driven countermeasures to track the illegal betting and money laundering that fuel modern match fixing. For instance, Interpol utilizes Project ETCA for dedicated data collection on sport corruption, and FinCAF for advanced financial crimes analysis. They run joint operations and hold workshops with groups like the International Olympic Committee. The goal is to bring law enforcement and sports organizations together, making absolutely sure that intelligence is shared rapidly across borders, long before these syndicates can cash out their illicit bets. So, why does all of this matter to us? Well, fundamentally, if the audience, if you and I, cannot trust the outcome of the match, the sport loses its value entirely. Match fixing is not a victimless crime. It literally steals the unpredictable magic of the game. It takes a genuine contest of athletic skill and turns it into a scripted, illegal financial transaction.
We've seen how this corruption scales, right? From a few players trying to make a quick buck before World War, to global betting syndicates, straight up to the executive boardrooms of elite clubs. Now, law enforcement and data analytics are definitely getting smarter, but let's be real, the financial incentives for criminals are just massive. So, I'll leave you with this to ponder. With literally billions of dollars circulating in the global sports betting market right now, can global football ever truly be 100% clean from the influence of corruption? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning what you see out there on the pitch.